Hi guys. Oh my goodness. I don't want any nip slips, anything like that. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about something that I feel is extremely personal. So I hope that the love and the light and the vulnerability is received as I give this message, because it's just a very intimate journey, and I'm not going to go too deeply into the details of my personal experience per se, just because this type of experience is so unique that me telling you my story or what I went through during this journey may cloud your judgment or misconstrue your expectations of what you're going to experience. Everyone does not experience the same thing with ayahuasca. That's what makes it so amazing. It is a plant medicine that is so unique that when you take it, it knows exactly what you need specifically, and it gives it to you. We're gonna get started. First things first, what am I going to be talking about today? I'm going to be talking about my experience with ayahuasca, my journey, what it was like, what it is, a little bit of my ceremony, what's it been like integrating this first week back home, and you know, if you should try it or if I recommend it. Okay, so to dive right in, kind of have some notes to keep me just in flow. Okay, and I'm going to try, and I have this because I don't want this video to get too long, because honestly, just as a fair warning, there are no words to describe what happens when you experience ayahuasca. It is a spirit, it is divine, majestic, magical, ethereal, but our language, whether you speak English, Spanish, French, it's very limited when it comes to trying to create the proper verbiage to describe the sensations and the bliss. As you can see, I really don't have the words, but I'm gonna try. So diving right in, what is ayahuasca? So I'm gonna tell you two different definitions. I'm gonna speak from the Western world, and then I'm gonna speak from everyone else, right? So ayahuasca is a psychedelic, but it is not what I think most in the Western world, the idea that most people have of it. It is not something that you take like a drug, like that will become addictive, or that's harmful to you, or anything of that nature. However, it is classified that way in the Western world. There's a lot of different theories on why. Some say it's because of big pharma. That's it's capitalism, got to make money. If we pulled all of the problems up from the root, then what would happen to like pharmacists? Because we need to, you know, give pills and prescriptions to Medicaid, or hospitals, like doctors, you know, it just wouldn't be as busy, and that's all business. And so we need, to a certain degree, like, I guess, people to be not so healthy. Another theory is that, you know, when it became a big deal and there were research and things being done on it back in like the 60s, a lot of people didn't want to go to wars because everyone was just in this beautiful state of bliss. And that's no good either, because we need military force and we need people to fight. So in 1970, 1971, you can research but it was banned, I think through the Controlled Substance Act. But I don't want to really get into like research and details and things like that. Google is free. Please do as much research as you would like to on ayahuasca, on psychedelics in general, and I'm sure you will be given lots of good information. So just kind of piggyback off of that, it is becoming very popularized again in the Western world. Harvard is currently doing some studies on it to see how it can help heal trauma and depression and anxiety, and how it changed the neural pathways of your brain and things like that. New York University is also doing studies on it. So it's slowly making its way back into the mainstream, so that we can really like become aware, everyone can become more aware of its benefits, and hopefully if you feel called to have an opportunity to experience this. Okay, so diving into the personal part of the video, why did I do it, right? Just to like give you guys a clear fair warning, I am not someone who typically cares to jump and dive and experiment with anything that can like alter my mind, my body, my soul, my spirit. I tend to be a little bit on the like I guess frightful side when it comes to things like that. My fear is way more prominent than my curiosity, and I just choose to stay away from that. I also have had a very close experiences with people that I'm close to that have experimented with different things that, you know, drugs that were not so healthy, and so I think I've learned from that, and that's caused me to just really stay away from it. However, this is why I said in the beginning, ayahuasca is something completely different. It is a plant medicine, and so I chose to do ayahuasca because for as long as I can remember, but most profoundly in 2019, I've been dealing with what people will probably call an existential crisis. Just wondering, you know, about life and how it became about, and why are we all here? What does it mean to be a human? These ideas of God, why is there so many different religions, and you know, where do I fall in that category? Why did the things happen to me in my life that happened to me? I wanted to heal childhood trauma. I wanted to move from the state of feeling like a victim to a state of having my power back. I wanted to have my joy again. I struggled with depression like very seriously. I was functional, but nonetheless very depressed, and I wanted that weight off of me. I wanted to just be free and to live again. And when ayahuasca came to me, because there's a saying that says you don't find ayahuasca, it finds you. So when ayahuasca found me, and I just kind of heard about all of the healing benefits, especially for someone like me who dealt with trauma, I jumped on it. It seemed like the perfect thing to do. I was blessed enough to have, you know, the funds to be able to immediately book my retreat, and yeah, that's when my experience began. Okay, so where did I go? So before booking, I was doing research on two different facilities. One is called Rhythmia and one is called Soltara. Initially, I only knew about Rhythmia, and so I thought that that would be the one that I was going to go with. But as I continued to do my research and watch some videos just like this, I came across Soltara, and it actually seemed way more appealing to me. I really can't say much about Rhythmia because I've never been. I have listened to stories from Jerry, who's the owner, and his stories are incredible and magical and impactful, and there's great speakers that come there. But the pricing was a big thing that made me choose Soltara. Soltara, I mean, the retreat in itself, whether you go to Rhythmia or Soltara, is going to be pretty expensive, in the thousands, and Rhythmia was like $2,000 more. And so that was a huge deciding factor for me. I'm sure it may be a deciding factor for some of you. And then also Soltara is much smaller. So the way I've been told to think about it is that Rhythmia is kind of like a resort and Soltara is kind of like a retreat. And so In my experience at Soltara, there was only 20 of us, and so the space was created to kind of get to know everyone that you were there with, to really build bonds and to create, in a sense, what I view now as a family. Everyone that I went on that journey with, everyone that was a part of my process is now my family and engraved forever in my heart. And we are all still very much in communication with one another and text one another and have a group together. And I just really, really appreciate that part of Soltara. And so that's kind of how I ended up making my decision. I'm not going to get too deep into pricing just because I don't want anyone to let that be a deterring factor from them going. If you want to go, if you feel like it's you being called and this is something that you really need in your heart, in your soul, in your life, in your mind, in your body, trust that the universe will work its magic to give you the resources, to give you the funds so that you can have this experience. Because it's available to you, it's available to everyone. And I just personally want as many people that want to experience this to have the opportunity to, and to not allow your mind to talk you out of it before you even allow yourself to get excited. So I'm going to dive a little bit into my experience. So I did a 7-day retreat. And so during those 7 days, we did 4 ceremonies, which means that I drank ayahuasca on 4 separate occasions. So every time that you drink ayahuasca, you're going to have a different experience. Before you drink it, you're supposed to come up with an intention. That's very important. If you don't come up with an intention, it is possible that you can just kind of sit there in the unknown, blissed out, right, in this liminal space. And while that may sound like fun or a good thing, the point of taking ayahuasca, at least in my opinion, is to have the realizations that you need, that your soul needs, so that you can do and live how you're supposed to while you're here in this time-space reality that we call Earth. So it's very important that you go in with an intention. So the first time that I took ayahuasca during my first ceremony, I thought that I was not experiencing anything. I thought that, I wasn't connecting with the medicine. We were in the temple and, I'm sitting on my mat. I got my bucket right in front of me because you need that in case you purge, which is a way of releasing any old toxins or energy that no longer serves you, that you no longer need. That can be shown in a bunch of different ways. That can look like vomitivo, that can look like sweating, that can look like crying, that can look like shaking. It can look a bunch of different ways, but nonetheless, you have your bucket. It can also look like going to the bathroom. And so I'm in my first ceremony. Everybody comes up to get their first serving. I take my first cup and I really don't feel much. And I hear my family around me having their experiences. You hear the yawns or some shakes happening or some crying. And I was just kind of just sitting there I really don't feel anything. And so one of the facilitators asked if we didn't feel anything, we were welcome to come back up for another dose. And so I went back up, got another dose, went back to my mat, sat down, closed my eyes, and was still very much having the same type of sensation. So believe it or not, I went up for a third dose. Now, I don't recommend this to anyone. Before you lean into more medicine, I would recommend leaning into yourself and try to gain some understanding of what's happening, why you may not be connecting, or just why you feel the way you feel. Just tapping into awareness and watching yourself, being aware of the feelings that are going through your body or the thoughts that are going through your body and trying to understand them. What I found out was that it wasn't that I wasn't connecting to the medicine, it was that it felt familiar to me. I have a meditation practice that I run to whenever times get hard, I go into my closet, cut off all the lights, and I literally sit there and meditate. And in those meditation practices, I had experiences very similar to what I had. Sorry, someone's calling me. Experiences very similar to, who is this actually? They can leave a voicemail. Experiences very similar to what I had in my meditations. And so I was like, you know, was I tricked? Was I bamboozled? Like the book that came to mind was The Alchemist, where you go on this long journey, right? Because I went to Costa Rica and I'm from the States. But where you go on this long journey to try to find something. And in the book, The Alchemist, he realizes the treasure was in his backyard all along. That's literally how I felt. And I was a little nervous, if I'm being honest. But again, I leaned into it and surrendered. Sometimes you may not feel that you are really tapped into that liminal space if you have a lot of resistance towards the medicine. So before you decide to take ayahuasca, you are given kind of like a plan to prepare yourself, where you're not supposed to have like processed foods and you know, no alcohol or any other substances, and you know, to just really, you go on a dieta to really get your mind, your body, your soul prepared to come and have such a intense experience. Because while it's blissful and amazing and life-changing, it's very much also work, and so you want to be prepared. Full disclosure, I did not do that. I tried to prepare as much as possible. I'm already vegetarian, so changing my diet and cutting out processed foods wasn't so hard for me. But when it came to things like not having a glass of wine or something when I'm out with friends, or you know, cannabis is legal now, recreational, so all of those things were really hard. And I will say, up until my day of coming to Soltara, I literally struggled in that area. And so that can also play a part in why it was kind of, very difficult for me during my first ceremony to feel that I was connecting to the medicine. But again, I was very blessed when I had the realization that it wasn't that I wasn't connecting, it was just that it was familiar to me. My Mama Aya is a very loving entity that has been with me for as long as I can remember. And so this was like my first time getting to meet her formally, but we had already met. So fast forwarding to my second ceremony, I had dealt with the loss of someone extremely as close as probably close can get. It's my mother. Just recently, last year, it was a year in April, and I knew that that was something that I wanted to get more understanding around and closure around. And so again, not going to go into too much details, but I will say during my second ceremony, I was definitely able to get a lot of that. I was definitely able to release. There was a lot of crying and a lot of tears, and a lot of things clicking for me, a lot of aha moments. I felt very loved. I felt very safe. I felt like everything was okay. When you take the ayahuasca, the healers come around after a certain amount of time, and they do something extremely beautiful. They sing to you. They sing to you something called an ikaru. Each person gets 2 ikarus, and it's a song created especially for you. When they sit in front of you, they can kind of see your energy field, and they can see exactly what it is you need, or ways that the medicine may need to be guided within you to help you release, to help you surrender, to help you heal. And so I got my 2 ikarus, and I think that helped me open up a lot. And so, as I said, I was able to get everything that I wanted, every connection that I wanted pertaining to my mom, and just the feeling of her, her presence, and For some, when they take ayahuasca, they see a bunch of different visions and things like that. That wasn't necessarily my experience. My experience was much more conversational. Although I did see some things, for the most part it was conversational, but it was exactly what I needed, and I was told everything that I needed to hear, and everything made sense, and it was amazing. Fast forward to my third ceremony. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one, y'all. No, this is the one that was just incredible. It blew me away. During this ceremony, I did experience the shakes. And so I had heard one of my family members talking about the shakes that they were getting and how intense it was. And so I think I was kind of afraid to have that experience myself. But once I got it, oh, I'm getting chills through my body just thinking about it. For me, I think because I'm kind of a private person and very secretive, blame it on being a Scorpio, I needed to go into the bathroom. And so during my third ceremony, I took, I think, like a serving and a half, and I felt myself purge. I purged in all three ceremonies via vomitivo or crying, but I had never had the shakes. And so during my third ceremony, I just felt that it was time to release something. I think my intention was to heal my heart. And I thought I was going to need a whole new heart like Jerry, right? But Mama Aya was laughing at me and was like, you're fine. Like, your heart is fine. We do have to clean some stuff out, but you don't need a whole new one. And so, yeah, same thing when I had the intention of merge me with my soul. She's kind of laughing at me, but she's like, you already have it. You already have your soul. I don't need to merge you with it. You just need to know who you are. In a sense, I guess I was just kind of in my own way with this doubt that I had. And I really needed to get my faith up. As I said, I had these experiences before. I was grounded in my meditations. I would have aha moments, but I would come out of my practices and think that it was like made up in my mind, instead of trusting that this was a divine message that I got and that it's okay to act on it. So going back to my third ceremony, I felt that I needed to purge in a way. I was told that it was time to let go of things. I didn't want to do it alone. I didn't want to only do it with just me and the spirit of ayahuasca. I kind of wanted my mom to be there as well. And there was a little bit of pushback with that during my third ceremony. But nonetheless, I ended up feeling the safetyness that I needed and the presence that I needed. It feels very, very crazy talking to you guys about this part, about like my mom and her presence, because again, it's so fresh and it's so new. But I want to be a bit transparent just to give you guys some type of insight and depth into how powerful it is and how healing it is, and how really, in a sense, there's no need to kind of grieve in a sad, lonesome, melancholy type of way when there's loss. And I know it's natural. However, energy is never created or destroyed. It's just transformed. And so if you really want, you can connect with anyone. Honestly, truly, I think that that's possible. For me, it was just one special person that I wanted to feel, and that was my mother. So third ceremony, I get up, I need to go to the bathroom. This amazing facilitator was able to help walk me to the bathroom, just because you want to be around people that's just gonna look out for you as you're taking this medicine. You don't want to take ayahuasca at a friend's house and just like lay on the couch. You want to be with healers and facilitators or shamans, someone that's familiar with the medicine, someone that's taken it themselves, someone that knows the presence of this entity, and someone that can guide you through your process and help you release what you need to release. So she helped me walk with me to the bathroom. We went very slowly, and I was just kind of looking out the window at the trees, because we're in Costa Rica and you're kind of in the jungle, and everything just looked so magical. The trees looked like they were there for me. We were right next to the ocean, and you can hear the sound of the waves crashing, and everything just felt so intertwined and so connected and so beautiful, and literally like it was there for me, like it was there serving me. Like everything in this earth, in this realm of life that we live in, is really there for me. Like from the strawberries that grow so that I can eat, to the animals that you can commune with, to other people that you can have connections with, to the trees that provide you shade, and the oceans, and that give you water, and just everything was here for me. And I could feel that so hard, like so wholeheartedly and so deep into my gut, into my soul. And as we were walking to the bathroom, I was just looking kind of in awe. And so I get to the bathroom and I'm like sitting down. I'm definitely purging via vomitivo. I knew I was going to. Mama Aya kind of let me know when it was time. And then I knew it was time to release something even more big, right? Something even bigger. I'm not going to go into too many details about that because it's something that's extremely personal. But I knew that it was time to release. And there was a moment of fear, but then right after there was a moment, I was just kind of like, I'm ready. Like this is what I came for. This is what I'm here for. I don't want to go home with baggage still. I don't want to go home with things that caused me to be depressed in the first place, with things that's just, or stories that's simply not true. I want to let this stuff go, and I want to go home renewed and refreshed, right? I've paid this money. I'm here. I'm having this amazing moment with this divine entity, and I want to really like surrender and allow myself to flow and fall into it. And so once I made that decision, the shakes came on. And for me, it started in my knees, and my thighs began to shake really, really fast, uncontrollably. And from there, it went like up through my hips and then up through my waist. And I think most people will call this the rising of your Kundalini. But I felt it go up through my spine, and my spine was kind of doing like this, all the way through my neck to the top of my head, even down to my arms and my fingertips. Everything in me, I could just feel kind of like the medicine going through every part of my being, every cell in my body, every part of my soul, to find out any bit of darkness or any bit of shadows, anything that needed to go, and it was ready to get that stuff out. And it did. And so I went through the shakes, shaking uncontrollably. Someone on the outside looking in would think this is crazy. But the way my sister put it is that she's practiced Christianity, and it's very much like when you see someone and they're trying to like, they're speaking in tongues, or they're saying to something that's in that person, whether it's a demon or just something that shouldn't be there, to come out, and then you see the person like having their experience or whatever. And yeah, it's that's kind of like that was what went in her mind when I told her about it. So if that helps you think of it kind of in a similar sense, but nonetheless, it was something that was extremely beautiful and extremely powerful. So after I had this amazing, blissful experience of these shakes full of release, full of the number one thing that I knew I needed to release, my body kind of collapsed there, and I literally just felt so whole. I felt so whole. I felt so clean. I felt I felt renewed. I felt refreshed. I felt loved. I kind of sat there for a while in awe, and just with this feeling of gratitude is kind of coming over me right now. Just this feeling of abundance, to know that I'm loved in that way, that I'm loved so wholeheartedly, that like, there's so many people on the planet, and I'm the focus of this divine being, and all of this energy and love and light is being given to me and washed through me and cleaning me and pouring me, and it's just amazing. It's literally indescribable. That was my third ceremony. I got my healing. And then on the fourth ceremony, it was really just kind of a glimpse of my future, which was really, really cool. I was shown like some amazing things regarding my little one, my son. I have a 7-year-old. Regarding my future, I want to be married one day, hopefully soon. And I was just really shown a lot of what's in store for me, and the goodness, and like the things that I can be available to receive now that I no longer have these blockages or negative self-talk or things in the way to keep me from even feeling like I'm, worthy or not. And so that was really, really cool and incredible to kind of just, see glimpses of like what's to come and what's in store and how amazing you are and your life's gonna be, and stuff that's coming to you that's in flow. I guess if anyone watching this is familiar with Abraham Hicks, she talks about the vortex a lot. And so the best way I can put it is that I was shown like so many things that's in my vortex that just needs to be manifested into this physical material world so that we can touch it, feel it, taste it, smell it. But I got to see it first. And so that was just amazing, absolutely amazing. I still sit and meditate and just go back to that place and get really, really happy when I think of that. So yeah, let me see so I can make sure I'm staying on track here. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the power of meditation, because some people may be listening to this and thinking like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing, but is there a way that I can have that experience without ayahuasca? Maybe I can't go to Costa Rica, I don't have a passport, or I don't have the funds, or I just, I'm afraid to travel, for whatever the case may be. The answer is yes. That's kind of going back to like how I felt during my first ceremony, where it kind of felt familiar. You can experience this luminal space, this sense of connectedness, this sense of the unknown. You can drop into that state of mind, which is very higher than your logical mind. It's where wisdom exists. It's where you come from. It's where your soul exists. You can get to that place through meditation. You can prepare your body to get there through yoga, hatha yoga, intentional yoga, where you're actually practicing and feeling and connecting with your body, not just doing a whole bunch of stretches. And I would recommend different teachers such as like Sadhguru, or again Abraham Hicks, to kind of just help along that process. But it is very, very possible. It's something that we were gifted with, every human being, when we were created by God, by the divine. It's a gift that we all have inside of us. And no, you don't need to go somewhere to get that gift. It's yours. You have it. You own it. We all, as human beings, do. However, for some people, you may need a little bit of assistance, or you may just want to get there a little bit quicker. Or like for me, you just want your faith to be stronger. You want to know. You want to meet it. You want to meet this kind of like heaven face to face. You want to know that it exists, and you don't want any room for doubt. So then you can try ayahuasca. It's a gateway to your soul. Is another popular phrase to describe the experience. With that being said, I also just kind of want to throw it out there as a disclaimer a little bit that ayahuasca is not for everyone. A couple of things that I know will disqualify someone from taking a psychedelic such as ayahuasca is if you have schizophrenia or psychosis or bipolar disorder. When I think about it, I feel like it's just anything that already kind of causes you to have different perceptions currently in your everyday life. Then it's probably not a good idea to take a mind-altering psychedelic that's going to give you another perception on top of what you're already struggling at. That's something to do more research on. Before coming to Soltara, you do have to go through an intake process where you complete a form, and then you have to meet with someone and they ask you a bunch of questions and kind of go over your health just to make sure that it is a good fit for you and that it's going to be safe for you to have this experience. With that being said, I don't know if I was able to answer the questions that some of you may have going in your brain or the callings that you're feeling, but I hope that I was able to at least give you something, some type of peace of mind or some type of nudge if you're hearing and feeling the call, or even just a little bit of faith that everything is okay. Everything is okay, and life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And so if you can live with that mindset and go through life knowing that, truly knowing that in your soul and your gut, you'll be able to take every situation and make lemonade out of it. Once you kind of know and accept and lean into it, life opens up for you in the most amazing way. A couple of aha moments that I got during this experience is just that there is no such thing as disconnection, whether that's from something like Earth, which is holding me up right now. I don't have to ask Earth to do that, or the sun that provides sunlight and vitamin D for you, or even other human beings. When you hurt another human being, you're indirectly hurting yourself, because there's no such thing as a disconnection. Same way when you help or heal another human being, you are indirectly healing yourself. We are all a part of this huge, we're like a small microorganism that's a part of this huge cosmos, but every part is needed and necessary and required, and it all comes together in a sense to make this organism and to make it beautiful. And so if you hurt one part of it, you're messing up the whole thing. There's no such thing as disconnection. Another aha moment was this concept of time that we have. Time is a man-made structure. It was created so that we can compartmentalize, and so we can meet people at different locations or places, and people won't be late, or just so we can kind of organize, construct. Well, the mind does, your logical mind does. It likes to deconstruct. It likes to problem solve. That's literally kind of what science is. And no offense to any scientists, but that is definitely a career that will never go out, because you're gonna always be trying to catch up to the divine and trying to study and understand. And unfortunately, you're always going to fall short because you can't understand it with your logical mind. You have to allow yourself to go to a space and a place much higher, where there really isn't any words that is said to you. It becomes just this knowing that, again, we all have, and a lot of spiritual teachers talk about it. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, Oprah Winfrey talks about it all the time, Tyler Perry talks about it all the time, who else? Gary Zukav in The Seat of the Soul. It's just, there's definitely quite a few people that understand this and know this, but majority of the population don't. And so I'm hoping that things like this video can help to spread this love and spread this message that, like, hey, it's there, it's out there, it exists. Real joy, true abundance, real alignment, real connection, real love, unconditional love. And I get emotional thinking about it. Exists, and it's out there, and it's available for you and for me. And it doesn't matter what you've done, what you think of yourself, what anybody else thinks of you. You can be renewed, you can be cleaned, you can be made whole, you can be forgiven. God is no respecter of persons. You already are. Like, you don't have to try, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to, you're just you. Matter of fact, that's actually what's needed, and that's perfect. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna probably end it on this note. Again, I don't want this video to be too long, and it's already getting a little long. But if anyone has any questions and want to reach out and ask me about my experience a little bit more, or about ayahuasca a little bit more, or if you need support, or if you're thinking about it, anything, whatever you have, please feel free to reach out. I'm here. I would love to help in any way that I can. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video. Ashe.